I'm Maria Mendiluce. I'm the Managing Director of Natural Capital at the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. In this chapter, I'm going to talk to you about the business engagement in the climate change process and in climate action. And in fact, I'm going to do it talking with an example of an initiative that we launched in 2014, which is called the Low Carbon Technology Partnership Initiative. Our objective with this initiative is to build collaborative platforms where business can share best practices, agree on what are the main challenges they need to achieve, and what are the actions that they can collectively take together to advance towards the 2 degrees scenarios. And we have done that by breaking the 2 degrees scenarios in different sectors. And we are tackling this working on renewables, on biofuels, on freight, on forest, chemicals, energy efficiency and buildings, climate smart agriculture, and cement. We have had lots of meetings, both at international level, but also at the local level. And that has allowed us to refine our thinking of what are the solutions, the barriers, and the opportunities that emerge in different countries. I'm very optimistic. It was a great opportunity that the ratification of the Paris Agreement is giving a long-term signal to business to invest in low carbon technologies. And business realize that they cannot do this alone, that they need to collaborate. We think that collaborating is important, but what is more important is to show how the different initiatives are evolving over time and what is their impact. And impact is often difficult to understand when we talk about collaborative initiatives, but that's what we have tried to do in the LCTPI report. And we plan to do this regularly. That allows us to learn about what has been going right and wrong and the lessons learned and how can we improve. It also allows to revise our ambition because at the start of the process, each area agreed on the ambition. I'll give you an example. In the case of renewables, the ambition was to deploy 1.5 terawatts of renewable energy by 2025. At the time when we started, we had lots of discussions on whether renewables were competitive or not. Today, the reality is that they are competitive in many markets, which is a very positive news. And as a consequence, we see that progress is going really well in this initiative, which is called Rescale. And we probably will have to increase the ambition of that initiative in a couple of years when we see that progress is maintained and even overachieved. And what have we done there? Well, we have worked with companies, both at the supply side, but also at the demand. And we have worked on the corporate procurement renewable guide. So this is a very interesting development because it means that not only companies are engaged in the production with renewables, but also in buying renewables because they want to reduce their supply chain. Another interesting outcome is in the work on sustainable fuels. We started a campaign which is called Below 50. And there what we want to do is to agree with the most important actors in the field on what sustainable fuels mean and what is the potential of the different technologies. Technology neutral, but with a very clear environmental objective, which is to at least reduce emissions by 50%. And we're very proud to have many companies, the most advanced companies in the space, working with us in this initiative. And finally, a third example. We discuss much less about transport and about freight. And we realized that if we want to achieve the climate agreement, we need to tackle transport emissions because they account to around 20% of the emissions. And what we have started with a small group of companies is to quantify what is the potential of emission reduction in the sector. We applied three simple, very complex measures, but three measures. The first one is how much can we improve if we optimize assets? So if we improve the routes so that we avoid empty trucks coming back one after the delivery. The second one is how can we organize platforms where companies can share their assets so that there is more optimization. And the third one is how can we improve the delivery windows? We all love that goods come to our place at 10. But maybe if we allowed the delivery of goods to be between 9 and 2, that helps a lot in terms of emission reduction. The potential is huge. We have calculated that is 50% of emissions of freight could be reduced with these three measures. And what we have done, this was a project, we have extrapolated these results to the world with the International Transport Forum so that they can model this and give similar results. And we start to produce policies that could allow this to happen. But this, of course, needs consumers, it needs you to understand that these issues are important and you have a role to play in reducing the emissions. So our objective now with these initiatives is to move them further and also to interact more with the countries that are developing national determined contributions. How can we fit the LCTPIs with that exercise so that we can bridge the gap that exists often between what business is doing and what governments want to do? I believe that tackling these LCTPIs cannot be done by business or government alone. We also need you. We need you to take into account the consequences of your actions and also to integrate this into the larger movement that is trying to deploy solutions to solve the climate change challenge. So this is a really strong collaborative process where everyone has a role to play. And I look very much forward to continue to work with many of you in the future.